It's the fact that each and every survivor, Jewish survivor who emerged from the war had very many of his close friends and family members die at the hands of the Poles or being denounced by the Poles. Now, the millions who were dragged screaming and shouting to death chambers at Treblinka left no memories behind them. So there is a special institute called the Pilecki Institute. There is a minister responsible for culture, Mrs. Dr. Gavin, who are littering, let's say, the countryside with special monuments devoted to Poles who lost lives saving the Jews. The idea is, of course, not to honor these individual Poles. The idea is to convey in Polish and in English, meaning that Poles saved the Jews. Now, to plant this monument, as it happened last month, at the Holy of the Holies of Jewish suffering, at the platform of railway station in Treblinka, was something I can't say undignified. It was shameless, when I started to do my own historical investigation of sources, I found out that it was simply based on lack of proof. The idea was that there was a Pole who was shot for trying to bring water to Jews who were waiting for their turn to be delivered to gas chambers, and he wanted to bring them water out of altruistic purposes, and he was shot by the Germans. Well, the problem is that what happened at railway station in Treblinka and many other railways on this line was a horrible scenery of Polish youth and gangs selling, for exchanging water for diamonds, for gold, for hard currency, and we have more than enough of Jewish proofs of this. So now, if you want to commemorate brave Poles who saved the Jews, have the courage at the same moment, at the same street, at the same Treblinka railway station, to erect a monument to all the Jews who exactly in the same location have been killed with direct or indirect participation of their Polish neighbors. And if you have problems in finding the names, I will be more than happy to provide you with them. So this is all I say. It's simply, there is no innocuous and innocent celebration of Polish virtue, as long as you are not prepared to build exactly the same monument to Jewish victims of Polish murderous activities. Which was really, which got me going, I must say, at the time, was when we were told about the little value of Jewish testimony. I mean, I heard in the courtroom words, you know, these people, meaning Jews, they constantly change their story. I mean, how can you trust their testimony if, you know, one day their name is, let's say, one thing, and in any case, this was an attack on Jewish testimony, which I witnessed the Holocaust survivor testimony, which I never thought I would witness so soon. So it was a harbinger of things to come.
Of Treblinka, the main problem is, well, the only source upon which the public institution established this small monument was a single account by a single person recorded 40 years after the war. So don't we really have heroes with a stronger record, stronger evidence that we have to honor someone who has such a dubious record for his death?
Just to jump in to finish the story, before, very briefly, I do agree with Dariusz more than I do agree with Konstanty.
And this might be a problem when we get the possibility to start to rebuild the country after this government is over.
You know, I have been a professional historian for close now to, let's say, 35 years. It is a long, long time. By professional, I mean starting with PhD and so on. And one thing I have learned is that the involvement of this machinery of the state in historical debates is something to be avoided. State's role is to fund historical research and stay the hell out of historical debates. What can be done, what should be done, what has to be done is constant barrage of pressure coming from abroad, telling also Polish society that doing these things, calling these names, putting these laws through is not a correct thing to do. And because I'm very sorry to say, inside Poland, ideas which are exotic, abroad are very much a part of the mainstream. I don't want even here to articulate them because I don't want to give them any more currency. So part of a larger battle that the nationalists are wielding against all of us here is so true when you look, for instance, at politics of exclusion, at what's going on the Polish-Belarusian border. If you look at the kind of language which is being used to depict and to exclude foreigners, most of all, let's say, of a different pigmentation of skin. It harkens back to the darkest years, actually, of the 1930s and 1940s. The imaginary of the imaginary Jew, the way the Jews have been depicted, is being applied in the official discourse today. So as I mentioned, this conflict with the past, it has its it percolates and hits us on the face today in the context of current political events.
We have a question about, how do you imagine restoring a historical narrative that will not be subject to historical manipulation as it is now? What's the role of scientists and the media who plays a part in that? It's a big question.
This button that really we touched upon here, which is the history of Holocaust, is something that, for reasons which we don't have the time to enter here into, moves people around the world. So as long as Polish authorities or segments of Polish society violate this commemoration, violate this trust, then pressure should be borne, pressure should be applied, because this is what makes it quite unique, and quite actually this way we can open and help Polish society transform the rest, including the courts and democracy. They are tied together. The violation of the history of the Holocaust with the violation of democracy are inherently tied.
I think that is an excellent note to end on, and I want to thank all three of you for a really terrific and thought-provoking discussion. I'm sure that the audience also learned a lot from it and will want to help in whatever way possible.